There is a condition. Vivaswamy wanted to avoid repaying the loan, but looking at the face of Emperor Xiaohao, he gave 10,000 gold coins. 10,000 gold coins were not a small amount. As the main focus of the Xiao family's worship, the disciples used to get about 500 gold coins every month. They had to buy many auxiliary tools for their worship. How did they get 10,000 gold coins? At that time, after repaying some gold coins on the request of Xiaoheng, they all repaid their loan with their precious swords. In other words, Xiaoheng suddenly got 5 swords. Now he had the tools to take out the specialties. Xiaoheng was filled with joy and he smiled at Xiaomi and said, "Now it's your turn." "Brother Xiaoheng, it's me." Xiaomi was about to say that she also does not have that much money and just wants to repay the loan with goods. But Xiaoheng interrupted him before that, waving his hand on Xiaomi's head and said, "Hey girl, do you really think that it is so easy to win brother Xiaoheng's money? If you still have a little talent left, then let's stop thinking about it." Oh, Xiaomi looked surprisingly at Xiaoheng's back. A little dignity. Remembering Xiaoheng's words, the corners of Xiaomi's lips changed in a smile. As a girl who loves beauty, she would not like to be praised for her beauty. "Xiaoheng, where are you going?" Emperor Xiaoheng saw Xiaoheng walking in the middle of the hall and he was very excited. At the same time, his face became serious and he started thinking that this naughty child has decided to do some mischief again. Since the elders of the Naling family have not said anything, so please be patient, 3 elders. My father will not agree with your demands. This marriage was personally decided by the old lords of both families. My father will not break it easily, otherwise it will be the insult of the great elder. In the hall of the Xiao family, Xiaoyang's eyes finally fell on the 3 elders who had already gone astray. He looked at the 3 elders in a cool tone and said, "I think that no one in our family will dare to do such a rebellious act, right?" Oh, the hearts of the 3 great elders were filled and they looked at each other. Because Xiaoyang had said so, if they agree to break the engagement, then it will be disrespectful to the great elder. By doing this, they can directly lose their seniority. Yu Nalinianran were completely stunned by Xiaoyang's words and in anger, he bowed his head. "Xiaoyang, the younger brother of my tribe, this is not at all right." As soon as the silence in the hall was over, Xiaoheng suddenly stood up. Xiaoheng looked at Xiaoyang and asked, "The love between a man and a woman is based on love. Forcing 2 such people to be together who do not love each other is not happiness, but love." Xiaoyang's face was serious. No matter how many times he heard it, he felt as if Xiaoheng was trying to humiliate him. Even while facing Xiaoheng's words, Xiaoyang turned around and said, "This matter was decided by the great elder. Since ancient times, marriage relations have always been decided by the parents. No matter how bitter it is, in the end, it does not affect everyone." "Xiaoyang, the younger brother of my tribe." Xiaoheng then asked with a slight smile, "Before you say anything, I want to ask one thing. If Nalinianran was also very ugly and poor, would you still be adamant on fulfilling the engagement? I need your honest opinion. You should know that Nalinianran is still unmarried and young. Anything can happen." Xiaoyang was about to answer that Xiaoheng stopped him in the middle and reminded him that Nalinianran can behave unethically in the future. Xiaoyang wanted to say that he would not have any objection. He looked at Nalinianran. Today Nalinianran had come in an aggressive manner, and to be honest, it was possible that Nalinianran was having an affair with other men. When Xiaoyang did not answer, Xiaoheng looked at Xiaoajin and asked, "Kulpati, if such a daughter-in-law becomes a cause of shame for our family, would you still love her?" Xiaoajin's face turned red with anger, and the mind was thinking that even though Xiaohen is a member of the Xiao family, how can he be so partial to outsiders? It is obvious that Xiaoajin did not want such a daughter-in-law. But the brother could not say this loudly. He said with a slight scolding, "Xiaohen, you have no right to speak here. Go back to your place." "Stop," Dian smiled as he looked at Xiaohen. However, he did not know what had happened to Xiaohen due to which he helped these strangers, but he felt that Xiaohen's words were really effective. He could not say that Nalini Anran was having an affair, and Nalini Anran could not say that either. However, the outsider, Ziohen, could have said so. Dian's inner soul told him that there is a possibility in this drama. Dian saw Zioajan scolding Ziohen. How could he let him do this? He shouted, Kulpati Zio, the words of this young man are not baseless. Please, Kulpati Zio, answer his question. Humph. Zioajan said in anger, Zio family is a great family, naturally, cannot tolerate anything that defiles its door. Kulpati Zio, you are right. Ziohen looked at Dian, went to him, and in a low voice, in a voice that could only be heard by the two of them, said, Dian, if I help you in breaking this marriage, what do you want to give me in return? To gain experience, Ziohen was trying his best to narrate the story of the engagement. However, he could not help for free. Dian smiled slightly, thinking that Ziohen is quite interesting. This written marriage agreement was decided by the old Guru Nalanzu and the Guru of the Zio family. The important thing was that the Guru of the Zio family was no longer alive. As Zioyan said, no one in the Zio family dared to insult the divine Guru. No one dared to break this marriage. Looking at the strength of the Yunlin dynasty, an ordinary Zio family did not have any importance in their eyes naturally. However, forcing it to break was a threat to the Yunlin dynasty and to be accused. This was also a kind of warning for Nalini Anran's soul. For the seekers, the purity of the soul is extremely important. Even a mistake can give birth to a demon in meditation. If Ziohen finds a way to break the engagement, it will be a great blessing. Dian smiled, and in a low voice, which could only be heard by the two of them, said lightly, if you can convince them to solve this marriage, then I, an old man, can give you a gathering kiwi powder as a reward. One is not enough, I need 3. Ziohen took advantage of this opportunity and increased the price. 3, Dian was a little shocked. The price of a gathering kiwi powder was equal to lakhs of gold coins. Because this kiwi had come from the hands of the Grandmaster, so its price could have been double or triple. The price of 3 gathering kiwi powders will be equal to at least 10 lakhs of gold coins. I, an old man, do not have so much that Dian tried to clear the matter with a clear smile. Come on, Ziohen said with a slight smile. You have come to break the engagement this time. I do not believe that you have brought only 1 gathering kiwi powder. If I am not wrong, then you have 3 gathering kiwi powders at the moment. Oh, Dian's smile became harsh. Did he really have 3 gathering kiwi powders? Or was the price decided by the chief of the dynasty the lowest? Union had spoken before coming down from the mountain. Union had decided that if the Zio family still does not agree, then they will have to forcefully break the engagement for the happiness of even Nalini Amran did not know about it. Dian was surprised that Ziohen found out about it. Okay, on the condition that you convince him to break the engagement, I am ready to give you 3 gathering kiwi powders. 3 is not enough. I am very dissatisfied with your dishonesty and bargaining. In addition to this, you will also have to pay 1 lakh gold coins as a fee, Ziohen said, smiling towards Dian. Seeing Dian angry, he immediately said, Trust me, I can help you completely end this agreement. Oh, Dian saw Ziohen's continuous, confident smile and was a little surprised. He wanted to get angry, but he suppressed his desire. Breaking this engagement was a very complicated matter. If it is not handled properly, then you will have to face criticism. End this engagement completely. At least, Dian did not have any new ideas. Dian was eager to know what method Ziohen has adopted. Or thinking, Dian shook his head and said, Okay, if you can completely break this agreement, then in addition to 3 gathering powders, I will also give you 1 lakh gold coins as a fee. For Dian, 1 lakh gold coins was not a small amount, but it was not a very big amount either. What are you both muttering? Ziohen, hurry up and sit back. The third elderly man sitting at the front was a little restless, being the third head of the Zio family. He was afraid that his grandson, Ziohen, would do something that would break the trust of the Zio family. However, a gathering powder was not very pleasant, but being the third head of the Zio family, He did not dare to break the engagement and insult the elderly man. Ziohen did not pay attention to his grandfather's words. He looked at Zioyen and said, "The husband's words are right. If she is such a daughter-in-law, then it is impossible to keep her. Similarly, it is the same with a little girl, Nalini Amran. If your future husband is Ayesh, will you be ready?" Nalini Amran was a little shocked, as if he remembered something, and then he looked at Ziogen. He blamed himself for his foolishness that he did not even mention the information he had obtained. At this time, Zioyen felt that he had understood Ziohen's words, and he looked at Ziohen with some anxiety. As expected, Ziohen asked, "Zioyen, I want to ask you, you and Ziogen always live together. What is your relationship?" Oh, Zioyen was a little surprised. It was true that he liked Ziogen. Anyone in the tribe could see that Ziogen had feelings for Zioyen and his apart from this. Zioyen did not have any reason to dislike the beautiful girl Ziogen. The thing was so small that Zioyen could not answer in the current situation. If he says that he likes Ziogen and he loves him very much, then won't it be like slapping his own face? This will give Nalin Yanran an excuse to break the engagement. Facing this question, Zioyen thought it would be better to stay quiet. However, Ziohen did not let Zioyen go easily and said, "Answer my question." Ziogen, sitting in a corner, was also looking at Zioyen. Feeling the eyes of Zioashuner and his father Ziogen, Zioyen closed his eyes. "Naturally, we are brothers and sisters. Brother Zioyen." Ziogener looked at Zioyen with some disappointment. Feeling the eyes of Ziogener, Zioyen took the decision that he would explain everything to Ziogener later when the time came. Very good. Ziohen was very satisfied with this result. To attack someone, first you have to attack his heart. To get Naka, he took the first step. Did your work get done? Was Zioyen getting tired? He was getting very angry at Ziohen. Zioyen was excited or thinking when he had upset Ziohen. Today, Ziohen was continuously targeting him. How could Zioyen know that Ziohen had tied Ajay Rikat Ralph's subversion system, and it was Ziohen's mission to oppose Zioyen? Don't be in a hurry. Ziohen saw that Zioyen was already excited and he was happy. He asked again, "Zioyen, I have heard that when you were 12 years old, you quietly went to the lake behind the hill and touched Zioyu's long legs. This is known all over Wudang City. Do you accept it?" Zioyen quietly licked his tongue. When he was 12 years old, he really quietly went into the lake and he touched Zioyu's legs. But this work was done by the last Zioyen, and it had nothing to do with his rebirth. "Zioyen, do you accept it?" Ziohen insisted. Ziohen raised the same old issue again, and Zioashuner's face was a little surprised. It seemed as if he had almost forgotten that Zioyen was actually a lump. Kindly do not criticize those who have special feelings for Zioyen. Thank you. Dandan is telling the truth. If you agree, then you can see his actions towards Zioyu in the beginning of the video. However, remembering the childhood memories, Zioashuner still did not care much about it. In his childhood, someone secretly entered his room and used an ineffective method to warm the veins to improve his ability. At the same time, someone had entered his heart. "I agree," Zioyen answered. "The point was that I was still young. I did not understand much." "Zioyen, I did not expect you to be so stubborn. I can either agree that you are attracted to women, but I cannot accept that my future husband will be stubborn." "The head of the family, Zio," said Nalini Anran. "I am breaking the engagement from today." Nalini Anran's face has changed. "It is useless for a young woman to be greedy. It is useless for a young woman to be greedy. But being greedy and being greedy is not the same thing." As one of heaven's prostitutes, Nalini Anran could not accept this fact. Zioyen, staring at Ziohen, wanted to kill him in one blow. He said in a cool voice, "I said, this engagement has been decided by my grandfather and the head of the Nalin family. No one can cancel this engagement without their permission. Zioyen, I don't like you. Why are you bothering me? Can't you save a little bit of your honor and cancel this engagement?" Nalini Anran looked at Zioyen with confusion and anger. "Nalini Anran." Zioyen was enraged with anger and said, Today you have come so far to break the engagement in our Zio family. Still, you are daring to hurt my honor. Okay, since you want to break the engagement, I will break it. But on the other hand, Ji was not in a hurry. His eyes were fixed on Ziohen. The target had been achieved. However, this was not right at all. In the future, people will continue to complain about the Yunlin family and Nalini Anran. Ziohen had said that he would completely break this engagement. Ji saw that Ziohen was not worried, and he wanted to see what Ziohen wanted to do next. On the other hand, Ziohen knew what Zioyen was going to say. He shouted and said, "Wait." Zioyen stared at Ziohen with anger. He really did not understand what Ziohen was going to do now. Ziohen had tried so hard. Wasn't it just to help Nalini Anran in breaking the engagement? Zioyen shouted impatiently and said, "What do you want to do now?" The situation had reached such an extent that Zioyen was about to get angry. Ziohen smiled slightly, without looking at Zioyen, but went to Nalini Anran and said, talking about this engagement, "Can I see the wedding invitation present with little Shrinti Nalanyan?" Absolutely. Although Nalini Anran was unusually eloquent, but at this time, Ji was not able to understand that, when he had clearly achieved his goal, why did Ziohen still need the wedding invitation? Despite being excited, Nalini Anran handed over the wedding invitation brought by him to Ziohen. In the wedding invitation, it was clearly written or said that the Zioyen of Nalini Anran and Zioyen of Zioparavar in Uttamkshetra will have a good marital relationship. Ziohen saw the wedding invitation. His eyes were filled with surprise and he said, "Hey, how can this happen?" How? Almost everyone was attracted by Ziohen's excitement. Ziohen said to Zioyen, holding the wedding invitation in his hand, "Zioyen, since the matter has come to this point, please show me the wedding invitation present with you." Oh, Zioyen tried to save himself from Ziohen. He was actually not able to understand what kind of trick Ziohen was playing. Zioyen sat on the main seat and looked at his father, Ziogen. Seeing Ziogen shaking his head, he immediately took out the wedding invitation and warned Ziohen, "Ziohen, will you tear the wedding invitation?" Zioyen assumed a possibility. Tear the wedding invitation so that no evidence is left. Ziohen said with a slight smile, "This wedding invitation was left by our ancestors. As a member of the Zioparavar, I, Ziohen, will naturally not insult my divine ancestors so much." Ziohen's words made everyone even more confused. Holding the wedding invitation given by Ziohen in his hand, he said with a deep sigh, "Hey, what is going on after all? Why is all this? How?" Everyone's curiosity about Ziohen was at its peak. How is this possible? Ziohen held both the wedding invitations in his hand and was looking at them one by one. He walked into the hall for a while, then moved towards the entrance of the hall. What is going on after all? Looking at Ziohen's shocked and unusual behavior, everyone's curiosity about Ziohen in the hall increased while roaming here and there. Taking advantage of their curiosity, Ziohen gently touched one of the wedding invitations with his finger. "Take it out." As soon as Ziohen ordered, a subtle change took place in the wedding ding-dong. "Congratulations, you have removed the ink from the wedding invitation. Black quality plus." A black glow was seen on Ziohen's finger head like ink. According to the description of the system, only black color was present in this black light. That is, it could only give black color to any object. It was very ordinary. "Take it out." Ziohen touched his clothes with his finger. Ding-dong. "Congratulations, you have successfully mixed the black color of the clothes plus." As soon as the sound of the system stopped, Ziohen saw that there was a dot of ink on the corner of the green square. "Take it out." Ding-dong. "Congratulations, you have removed the ink from the wedding invitation. Black quality plus. Take it out. Ding-dong. Congratulations. You have successfully mixed the black color of the clothes plus." When these people were not paying attention, then Ziohen removed the description of the ink from the second wedding invitation. Since only a little ink was removed, and Ziohen was standing on the entrance of the second wedding invitation, the time was also less, so during the entire process, No one paid attention to Ziohan's small act. After doing all this, Ziohan acted very surprised and said that God, how can all this be? Or how is it really? Ziohan, tell me quickly. You have kept us in suspense. Yes, do it quickly and say. Seeing Ziohan's actions, the people around him started protesting. Ziohan smiled slightly on one side and took both the wedding invitations in his hand and said to everyone, please look at them. Ziohan's shocking behavior completely aroused their curiosity. Among them, Zioayaju looked towards Ziohan and started reading the wedding invitation. Nalan Yamrin, the granddaughter of Nalan family's Nalan Su. Today their wedding was scheduled to take place on Sunday. Nalan Yamrin, the granddaughter of Nalan family's Nalan Su. Today their wedding was scheduled to take place on Sunday. This has been presented as a proof. Time Damasamraj, when Zioayaju read up to this point, he froze, turned back in surprise and said, wait, why is Zioan's name not on it? Zioayaju looked at the second wedding invitation with great surprise. After carefully re-examining it, he was left speechless and suddenly said, it's strange, Zioan's name is not on any of the two wedding invitations. Uncle Yeaju, Ziohan smiled, looked towards Zioayaju and said, everything is written. How can you believe that the man who is being mentioned is my cousin Zioan? I think it's me. Oh, Zioayaju quietly licked his tongue. Indeed, Zioan's name was not on it, so no one could claim that the man was Zioan. He could have been Zioan or Zioaket or Zioadug. Zioayaju looked at Ziohan with his beard. The more he looked, the more his eyes got deeper. He concluded that Ziohan was not ordinary. How is that possible? At this time, Zioan, who was involved in this matter, could not sit calmly. He snatched both the wedding invitations, his arms got tired, his eyes became empty, and he started staring at both the invitations as if he had seen a ghost. How is my name not in it? At least in my wedding invitation, my name was clearly written. Either you are. Zioan pointed at Ziohan's nose and shouted loudly, you must have messed with it. Zioan's eyes turned red with anger while facing Zioan's anger. Zioan, you can't defame me just like that. Just now my name was on the wedding invitation. You must have messed with it, Zioan shouted angrily. Where is the proof? Ziohan quietly looked into Zioan's eyes and asked, I need proof for everything. It is true that I had just seen the wedding invitation from you. In broad daylight, I want to know that if you say that I messed with it, then who saw it? Ziohan checked the surroundings, but no one dared to respond. Ziohan was right in front of them just now. If Ziohan wanted to change the wedding invitation, then it would have been impossible. It would have become very clear. And it was also impossible for Ziohan to erase the words from anything. If he had messed with it, then there would have been a mark on the paper. However, there was no sign of it on both the wedding invitations. Undoubtedly, everyone thought that the disappearance of the letter was definitely related to Ziohan. But where was the proof? Without proof, they could not dare to falsely accuse Ziohan so easily. But this is clear. My grandfather Zioalan's grandson, I am the only son who is engaged to the younger madam of the Nalan family, Zioan. Ziohan reminded him with a slight smile, dear cousin brother Zioan, you have forgotten, you still have two elder brothers. Brother, friend. Zioan froze all of a sudden. Yes, they still had two real brothers, Zioding and Ziali. Seeing Zioan silent, Ziohan went ahead and said, Zioan, you and Nalan Yanran cannot be of the same world. You are trying to stay close to him shamelessly. You want him to break off the engagement with our Zio family. Zioan said no. Do you really want to see this end? Oh, shamelessly. Zioan was a little surprised. Lost in his emotions, he did not feel that the matter has escalated to such an extent that he is shamelessly clinging to Nalan Yanran. In fact, Zioan himself did not even know that the moment he saw Nalan Yanran, who was not less beautiful than Ziojan, at that moment, Zioan had a little feeling of love for Nalan Yanran in his heart. Ziohan quietly said to Zioan, if the engagement breaks, it will have a negative impact on the Yunlin tribe and Nalan Yanran. What will happen to our Zio family? The Zio family, Zioyan was once again stunned. Not only Zioyan, but everyone else started looking at Ziohen. Yes, Ziohen came and said, won't it have a negative impact on our Zio family? Once the engagement is broken, it does not mean that our Zio family and Nalan family will become enemies with friends. This will make the Yunlin tribe a powerful enemy. Have you ever thought about all this seriously? Oh, Zioyan quietly licked his tongue. All the elders present there, even the 3 great elders and Ziojan, were surprised to see Ziohan. At such a young age, Ziohan's thinking was so deep. His intelligence was no less than that of any age. Zioyan got angry and he said, does it mean that we have to be soft and bow before their pressure? Ziohan looked at Zioyan, shook his head a little and said, you are wrong. Neither do you have to bow, nor do you have to be soft. There is only one misunderstanding here, a complete misunderstanding. Oh, almost everyone in the hall was scared to see Ziohan. As soon as they saw Ziohan again, Ziohan's personality in their hearts gradually became very high. Because of Ziohan, the Zio family was saved from giving birth to 2 powerful enemies. On the other hand, Nalan Yanran, who was also involved in this incident, was also scared and was looking at Ziohan. Nalan Yanran had read the written statements on the marriage agreement more than once. There was no mistake in it at all. But now, on both the marriage agreements, the word Yan of Zioyan was actually missing. At this time, Jie, who had seen the world very closely, understood this first, and he tied his fist towards Ziohan and said, Kalpati Zio, because the old Guru Zioalin and the old Guru Nalans have not made it clear that which of your children should be engaged to Yanran, so you cannot get Yanran married to your 3 sons. Such an unclear and uncertain engagement should be cancelled. Don't you agree? Ziohan looked at Jie carefully. Since the matter had come this far, so he could do nothing but shake his head in disagreement. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have completely spoiled the story of cancelling the engagement. As a reward, experience point, 50,000 points. As a reward, voucher, 1,000 points. Ding dong. Congratulations, your experience points have been completed and you have leveled up twice. Current rank, 9-star. Then, as soon as the sound of the system was lowered, a hot stream flowed from Ziohan's mind, which nourished his entire face. Immediately after this, the spiritual energy around him created a whirlpool around Ziohan. He achieved success. Everyone present in the arena was looking at Ziohan with great surprise. When he was talking, suddenly there was a huge transformation in his field. On the one hand, Jie looked at Ziohan with even more admiring eyes and thought to himself, by the intensity of the descent of spiritual energy, it seems that he must have improved by at least 2 ranks. However, he did not eat any medicine and did not take the support of any other object. How did he do this? Not only this, but also the heads of the 3 elders sitting on top, the heads of the tribe of the Zio family. Zio Zhan and some other elders saw Ziohan with great surprise. In the arena, most naturally, Ziohan's father, Emperor Ziohao, was the 3rd elder. Emperor Ziohao looked at Ziohan with surprise. Your Majesty, success? Ziohan nodded and replied, I have achieved 2 ranks. What? 2 ranks? Emperor Ziohao's eyes widened. The words of Ziohan made a great stir in everyone's hearts. Leveled up twice. Yesterday his test Dachai level was 7, which means that now he has already become Dachai level 9. Du Chi level 9. Once Dachai reaches the peak of Dachai, in this area, a person can combine Du Chi level and Lai Chi level and thus become a true Dazic area. Ha ha ha. The 3rd elder of the Zio family, who usually kept quiet, laughed with open heart at this moment. My grandson is very talented. If there is no unforeseen event within a year, he will create a Du Chi level. Dazic area and actually become a warrior of the Dazic area. In the arena, due to this event, all the members of the Zio family were looking at Ziohan. It seemed as if they had forgotten that today Zio Yan and Nalan Yamran are the main characters. Next to him, Jai pulled Nalan Yamran's sleeve. Nalan Yamran's haste was wrong. Without paying attention to the marriage arrangement, I hurried to your house and started troubling you. I hope that the head of the Zio family will forgive this junior. no problem. It was just a misunderstanding. Zio Dan looked at Nalan Yamrin and waved his hand weakly. The head of the Zio family said further that there are still many small tasks left in the Yunlin family that I have to complete. I am leaving now and will meet the head of the Zio family some other day. It was just an excuse to know the situation. Looking at today's situation, although the Yunlin family, Nalan family, and the Zio family have not become enemies, there should not be any contact between them for some time. Zio Dan nodded slightly. Being the head of the family, he had to take care of the family in every matter. Today's result was already accepted for the Zio family. Then Jai smiled at the third elder and said, Zio-sen, you have really brought up a good grandson. The doors of our Yunlin family are always open for your grandson. For the grace of the Yunlin family, the third elder looked towards Zio Han with his beard and said, but everything depends on his own will. Jai nodded. Zio Han will be an adult next year. There is still a lot of time. Zio Han was so excited that Jai had decided that he would have to find some way to convince Zio Han to join the Yunlin family. Greetings to all. Greetings from Jai Yi. Yang Ran greets. When Nalan Yang Ran and Jai Yi left, Zio Yan shouted, wait. Jai Yi turned towards Zio Yan. There was a little unhappiness on his face, and he said carelessly, Zio Yan, everything is clear. What else do you want? You. Zio Yan came in anger and yelled at Jai Yi and Nalan Yang Ran. But when the matter had reached any of his words would have been in vain. After feeling insulted in this way, a huge anger came to Zio Yan's heart. The most infuriating thing was that he clearly knew that Zio Han had made a mistake in things, but he could not present any evidence. Disgusting. Zio Yan's anger reached his heart and he spat fresh blood. His fingers were trembling with anger, he said this, pointing towards Nalan Yang Ran and Zio Han. You and you. I, Zio Yan, will always remember this revenge. Don't bother a poor young man 30 years before the river, 30 years to the west of the river. If I do not take revenge for this sin, then I, Zio Yan, swear that I will not be human. Nalan Yang Ran, you wait for me. After 3 years from today, I will go to Yunlin Kingdom. I will take revenge for today's insult. Oh, Nalan Yang Ran looked towards Zio Yan. He said carelessly, as you wish. And you, Zio Yan pointed towards Zio Han and said, don't think that the matter is over today. One day I will force you to bear the consequences of what you did for him. Is this a challenge? If he had been a few years earlier, then he could have challenged Zio Han naturally. But today's person is not as talented as before. With the interest of the 3rd level, challenging a novice like Zio Han, who has already reached the 9th level, perhaps he will not even be able to become his opponent in this war. Hearing Zio Yan's words, people thought that Zio Yan was saying this at a moment's notice. They did not take it seriously. In their opinion, even if 1, 2, or 10 years have passed, Zio Yan, who has not progressed for many years, even if he regains his previous leadership, he will never be able to compete with Zio Han, who himself was a talented person. As far as Zio Han is concerned, he could not be happy. According to the story, Yao Lao was going to appear tonight. After today, in the next year, Zio Yan's meditation will take place very quickly, and he will actually become the lord of 2 regions. Then, in the eastern part of Bhutan City, a young man wearing a green shirt entered a long pavilion. Seeing the arrival of that young man, she was waiting for a long time, and Nalan Yanran stood up to welcome him. The young man wearing green clothes was none other than Zio Han. Zio Han spread his hand and asked, have you brought the luggage? He smiled slightly while looking at Zio Han. After a long time, when he saw that there was no change in Zio Han's face and there was no sign of fear, he thought to himself that Zio Han's nature is good. He also started praising Zio Han. He said with a mischievous smile, child, you really dared to come. 3 gathering powder, 1 lakh gold coins. This is not a small amount. You have come alone. Aren't you afraid that I will miss out on paying the debt or I will kill you? You can try. Zio Han looked at the girl calmly. Oh, as an experienced scholar, the girl faced Zio Han's deep gaze. In front of Zio Han, she actually felt her powerlessness. It seemed as if the girl really took a step, then the one who will take the ultimate loss will definitely be that girl. Zio Han was clearly a novice on the 9th level, and the girl was very eager to know what Zio Han trusted so that he could ignore his existence as an adult. Undoubtedly, the girl really did not want to miss out on paying the debt. She made a face and said, "Child, this is not a joke at all. Take this." "This is your right." The girl took out 3 gathering powder and a green silver card. Seeing Zio Han leaving, the girl called out, "Zio Han, are you going like this? Is there anything else?" Zio Han turned towards the girl and looked. Cough. The girl coughed lightly and said seriously twice, "I am surprised. Do you want to join the Greek Empire and become my disciple?" The girl was completely satisfied with Zio Han from her heart. There was no interest. "Oh, I was actually accepted." The girl looked at Zio Han's back and smiled at the girl and said, "Young man, I am surprised what kind of a person your prince is." The girl's hallmaster, Nalan Yamran, saw the girl in the audience. The girl's eyes were on Zio Han's back, and her mind was trembling. If you have any feelings for Zio Han in your mind, then hurry up. I think that in the future this Gamma Empire will be this child's world. P.S. Tonight Zio Han is going to do something. Friends, guess what will happen? It is a shame that Zio Han played such a game with me today. As soon as he left the Zio family's palace, Zio Yang was not even hungry for dinner, and he easily climbed the mountain behind the Zio family. He sat on a big rock and started swimming far away. On the faraway wave, it looked like a princess, a white veil around her, like a woman's white veil, was reflecting the beautiful colors of the setting sun. Seeing such a beautiful scene, Zio Yang's eyes were only angry. In this world, if a person does not have power, then he will be like a wild plant which anyone can crush. Zio Yang tightened his fist and sent it. The fire of revenge in his eyes was raging. "Zio Han, just wait. One day I, Zio Yan, will take 10 times the price from you today. Haha, little child, I think you need my help." Suddenly, a voice was heard next to him which really shocked Zio Yang. "Who?" Zio Yang jumped off the rock and started looking around him. Wherever Zio Yang's eyes fell, the sun was setting and the sky was slowly darkening. Despite this, he did not see a young man wearing a green shirt behind a big tree. Haha, Zio Han smiled slightly in his heart. His feelings also got a little excited, and he thought to himself, "Alu is not cheating me." The doctors and the priests are about to appear. According to the story told by the potatoes, after Zio Yang's insult today, the medicine dust will be seen on the back hill of the Zio family for the first time. Zio Han once made an excuse of a friendly help and took the ring from Zio Han's hand and thought about helping Zio Yang to solve the problem of his wife's disappearance. However, the first thing was that there was not enough time. He had just been reborn. The second thing was that the relationship between Zio Han and Zio Yang was not bad, but it was not good either. It could be said that it was almost inauspicious. If Zio Han had fought, he would have become more careful due to Zio Yang's nature. Apart from this, the ring was left by Zio Yang's mother, and it would not be easy to take it by deception. "Little child, if I take advantage of Zio Yang's opportunity, how much experience will I get?" Zio Han asked with some enthusiasm in his heart. Getting medicine dust is the biggest opportunity for Zio Yang. Without medicine dust, Zio Yang does not have a burning flame skill. If Zio Yang did not have a burning flame skill, then the story would have changed. I think the experience gained from this would be very good, isn't it? Zio Han was secretly watching Zio Yang's changing behavior behind a big tree. Reaching the mountain, Zio Yang had understood the reason and result and got carried away in his emotions and threw the ring in his hand from the mountain. "Guruji, are you going to kill the medicine dust?" Little child's sister-in-law raised this question in a machine voice, after which little child said in fear, "Guruji, although you have a Daowang experience card, but according to little child, you are not against medicine dust. Little child advises you not to do this. Haha, this is just a guess. How will I know without trying? Xiao Han focused on the front. Xiao Yang threw the ring down from the mountain, and then it came back on its own. An old, transparent white figure was floating on the ring. Medicine dust, you finally appeared. Suddenly a sound came from behind which really shocked Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang frowned a little. His face was serious. He came out of the foggy forest and looked at the young man. His eyes were shining like a fireball. However, due to his self-indulgence by everyone for years, due to his self-indulgent nature, Xiao Yang still came in a hurry and did not respond. He said in a low, muffled voice, Xiao Han. Today Xiao Han remembered how he had played with him and got up out of anger. Facing Xiao Han, Xiao Yang understood that he cannot stand in front of Xiao Han. Have you come here for me? No. Xiao Han smiled, shook his head, looked towards the old man and said, I am here for him. Little child, who are you? The old man was completely alert, or it was his first meeting, yet Xiao Han knew his name. This surprised the old man and he became alert. Xiao Han smiled and then said, medicine dust, bone spirit cold fire and burning flame skill, give it to me and I can stop myself from doing it. Do you really know about bone spirit cold fire and burning flame skill? The old man's eyes twinkled a little. His face became very serious. Yes, Xiao Han's face always had a light smile and he said calmly, if you give me bone spirit cold fire and burning flame skill, then I promise you. In the future, I will help you to give your body a new form. Give the body a new shape. The old man was very clearly interested in this. A little emotion was flowing in his eyes. Xiao Han also felt this emotion. He thought in his mind that there might be a chance. As a repentant, Xiao Han knew that the medicine dust was the reason for Xiao Yan's help, or he had to hope that in the future, Xiao Yan could give his physical body a new form for him. Xiao Han thought that if he promises, then perhaps the old man will become his Xiao Han. After that, he got the golden finger. Seeing the opportunity, Xiao Han raised his heart full of joy and he said, yes, I not only know that you have bone spirit cold fire, but I also know that you have burning flame skill. In addition to this, when the level of burning flame skill reaches a certain level, then it can give the body a new and purified form. My ability is no less than Xiao Yan. If you give me these two things, then I swear to heaven that in the future if I get the ability, then I will definitely help you in giving your body a new form. It was better that Xiao Han did not mention it, but as soon as he mentioned bone, spirit, cold fire, and burning flame skill, the old man's eyes began to shine truly. His eyes became a little cold, and a light breeze began to flow, as if it was night and winter. Xiao Han was very sad. The old man said in a cool voice, little child, who told you that I have real spiritual fire and burning flame skill. Did this tell that traitor Han Feng? When Han Feng was mentioned, Xiao Han clearly felt a sign of astonishment in the eyes of the old man. He examined his surroundings. Han Feng was in the Do Wang area, and he had an extraordinary fire. The old man had to go into the state of the soul, and had to be forced to escape from his dangerous grip, only because Han Feng and Soul Hall had worked together. When the old man was alive, he naturally did not fear Han Feng, who was on the Do Wang level. At this time, he was only a soul body, and due to being awakened just now, his Do Wang power was very low. That's why it was natural that the old man was alert. Do not look, Xiao Han said calmly, this is me. I do not know Han Feng, at least not now, and an ordinary Han Feng cannot give me orders. So how do you know that my name is Medicine Dust, and I have bone spirit cold fire and burning flame skill? The old man looked at Xiao Han with great curiosity. It should be known that things like bone spirit cold fire had made him famous all over the world, but when it came to burning flame skill, it was a miraculous spiritual technique that no one knew, even his brother. The present Pavan David Dude Feng Jian was also unaware of this. Still, only a girl, Xiao Han, knew about it. The prophecy was fulfilled. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan, Medicine Dust looked at Xiao Yan with great curiosity. Xiao Yan explained that there is a rumor in the family that Xiao Han has the divine ability. Wow, in a way. Is there a divine calculator? A divine calculator. Medicine Dust said with surprise that this old man has traveled the 2 great continents for decades, and he has never heard about any divine calculator. No, I have never heard about any divine calculator. Medicine Dust looked at Zio Han carefully in the hope that Zio Han could give him an answer. Zio Yan was also staring at Zio Han. Zio Yan was very intelligent. He had read many ancient books since childhood, and he had never seen any mention of a divine calculator in his life. You can consider me as a divine calculator. Zio Han smiled and said, was Zio Han a divine calculator? Not at all. Zio Han was a bit lucky as he was a reincarnated being like Zio Yan. He was fortunate to know everything about Zio Yan. If he had to talk about anything else, he would have been beyond Zio Han's capabilities. However, Zio Han was naturally pleased with Medicine Dust's curiosity and a bit of mystery in the story. He smiled and said, what do you say, Medicine Dust? Have you thought about this? I am definitely more reliable than Zio Yan. Medicine Dust laughed and said, little devil, your talent is not less than Zio Yan's. Your soul experience is also excellent, but you know everything about me so well that this old man becomes very restless. I will still choose Zio Yan between you and Zio Yan. Have you thought about this very well? There is no need to think. Medicine Dust's eyes were closed and there was a bit of mercy in them. Little devil, do you have any last words to say? The last word was Zio Han waited for a while and was a bit surprised. Then he smiled and said, hey, you, do you still want to kill me? Yes, of course, because you know where this old man is. That's why this is a hidden danger for me. Apart from this, you also know about Han Feng's existence. If you tell Han Feng about me, then this old man's condition will become weak. I advise you not to do this. Give me the burning flame skill and bone spirit coal fire, and I will spare your life. Hey, only with you, with a little devil who can't even be considered as a dog, Medicine Dust observed Zio Han's presence completely. When I dared to come, do you think that I lack self-confidence? Zio Han smiled slightly, then stopped and took out a card from his hand. It seems I said a little too much. Darar. Zio Han's palm was slightly pricked and the card in his hand was shattered, which turned into a ray of light and surrounded Zio Han's body. 2 Jigshetra, Ladeguru, Grand Doshi, Ruling, Dao Wang cry. Next to him, Medicine Dust looked at Zio Han with complete surprise. Dao Wang, or Abha, it seems like this is the peak of Dao Wang's technique. Medicine Dust found that his words were not able to compete with Zio Han's fast-paced practice. In a blink of an eye, Zio Han's practice reached the highest level of Shakti 9 Duan, 2 Kue Nenet Duan, 5 Mahalakan, 2 Zilok, Yud Master, Batter Master, Grand Doshi, 2 Ling, and Dao Wang. Finally, he entered the world of Va Dao Wang, where he received the blessings of heaven and earth. Not only that, it seemed like he had reached the peak of Va Dao Wang. Yes, my Vakman Shakti is peak Dao Wang. Zio Han looked very proudly at this moment. A strange feeling arose in him, as if he could cut a huge mountain in two with a simple action. Whoosh! Zio Han gently turned his palm towards a huge tree nearby, a tree that 3 people could hardly turn around. With a powerful blast, the huge tree did not break into pieces, but turned straight into dust. Peekaboo! The drops of Medicine Dust fell deeply, and he looked at Zio Han with great doubt. What's going on? It does not seem that he has taken any medicine pill. Still, his meditation had improved many times as soon as he blinked. Is there any method in this world about which I, a revered physician, am ignorant, which can increase meditation at a rapid pace? The Medicine Dust was in his mind. Undoubtedly, he would never have imagined that Zio Han had a Dao Wang experience card. Zio Han looked at the Medicine Dust and saw Chinder in his eyes. He asked, Medicine Dust, am I still such a naughty child that you can ignore me? Oh, the Medicine Dust quietly licked his tongue as if there was a slap on his old face. However, Zio Han did not say anything.